everybody. Welcome.
Good evening.
Randomly, I mean, without much preparation, I asked Joe if he wanted to join us tonight, Joe from GameSack, because we're going to be playing Ys Origin, and we're kind of on an Ys high, I think, at this point in time.
I thought it's called Wise.
Oh, Y apostrophe S.
I just
Y apostrophe S. Yes.
I just rewatched part of that video, your Wise video, and the whole debate about how it's pronounced in the beginning, and I forget what was the original Master System translation of Adol. Aaron. That's right.
It's
I
fun.
still say Adol because of the first game. Still call him Adol. I will always call him Adol. I think they want to call him Adol because it doesn't rhyme with Adolf.
Oh, yeah.
But that game.
I have no idea really how you're supposed to say it.
Say Adol like the first three games said it. The whole series mispronounces everything. Like Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. No, she's not Dana. She's Donna. Donna.
Oh, okay.
So everything's mispronounced in that series. So Adol, I guess, is just another one.
Yeah.
That's always the worst thing when there is a word in the title that you don't know how to pronounce until you actually play the game and you discover you've been anticipating this game for all this time and talking about and saying the name of the game, and then you get the game and it's like, I've been saying this wrong all this time and I can't adapt now.
Well, Lacrimosa of Donna has a lot of stuff like that. I felt in the certain names are pronounced differently than I would say it, because I think it's just because I don't have much of an accent or anything like that, so I don't think about it.
You have somewhat of an accent, but the Ys series is really good for that because a lot of, especially recently, a lot of their games have these crazy names. What was E6?
The Ark of
Napishtim or Napishtim, Oath and Felgana, Memories of Salcetta, this, that, and the other thing. They're just strange names.
Yeah. Except for Ys Origin.
I have not played Ark of Napishtim yet, but I've had it for a couple of years and I don't even think I'd really even tested it, other than maybe watch the terrible American opening FMV. And but man, I was playing that and really feeling the Ys bug too. So I think before I play 8, I think I'm gonna do 6, because Coury says I can just knock out 6.
6 is really short. I mean, I want to say that it's even shorter than Oath and Felgana.
It was pretty short.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe not. Maybe it took me a couple of nights playing for 3 hours each night.
Mm-hmm.
It's longer than 6 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while since I played it. I think I played that on my 80 gig Metal Gear Solid 4 PS3.
Mm.
So I haven't actually even played it on a real PS2 before.
Yeah, as I've been working on this PS2 episode, I've come to realize, where's my save for this game? And I realized, it was on my Metal Gear Solid 4 PS3 when it died.
So I'm looking at the video. It looks like we're about 20 seconds of lag here.
Maybe yeah, 15. It's not super bad. I mean,
So we're in the future, guys.
Yes.
We're in the future.
Well, I mean, you're 2 hours in the past, 2 hours and 20 seconds in the past, anyway.
Sure enough.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start, but we will continue to talk about our love for this series. So, Joe, I think we had a very similar experience. I mean, my first exposure to the series was with the Master System game as well.
Sure.
I mean, I loved it at the time, but it took me a long time to beat because I got stuck in that room with all the mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember borrowing the game from a friend, playing to that room, and then just getting completely stuck for months before coming back to him and finally finishing it.
Yeah, that one's hard because it takes so long to level up. There's so much grinding in the Master System version. It gets kind of frustrating, really, especially since it's only the first game, which is really, really short.
Yeah.
I think that's how they extended it. It's like you will grind for 5 hours to go up one level.
Yeah, you know, it's been a long time since I almost played that tonight. That was like one of the ideas that I had. It was either between this, the Master System version, or the Super NES version of 3, which I also have, but I have not played all the way through.
Are there visually any differences between this version and the PC version, the Steam version that I played?
Yeah. I mean, not a ton, but they're like definitely on the like the icons next to your life bar, like when you pick up the I don't know what they are, like the temporary power up things. So I'm gonna skip most of the let's see.
I played this originally on the PC version.
Yeah, same here.
I haven't really. It's been a couple of years. I don't really notice much, if any, of a difference. This one runs at a better frame rate for me because I was emulating Windows on my Mac and running a screen capture device software at the same time on the Mac side to capture gameplay. So it runs a little smoother on the PS4 for me.
Those little shrubbery things look very sharp.
Yeah.
But interesting, it's 4x3 in the game, huh?
No.
Just
cutscenes?
Yeah, just this opening
just this
part.
one.
Okay.
I don't know why they did that.
Was it originally designed at the time, maybe for?
Well, probably because if it was 16:9, it would probably ruin that reveal of the tower. Right here too, when you see it kind of pans to the left, like kind of pulls out a little bit. So Try, you've only played this through with Unica. You've not played with.
Correct. I don't know
Hugo.
Really what the difference is.
Did I hear the word eunuch?
Unica.
Okay, I thought you were saying Try was a eunuch.
No, the character Unica.
Yeah.
Okay.
But playing with Hugo, it kind of makes it. He attacks with projectiles, so it's like almost.
Okay, I think that was the reason I played with Unica then, was because she was a little more similar to Adol.
Right.
However, I actually find myself preferring in. I know that like E7, and I believe you said with Celceta and Ease 8, you pretty much play as Adol. But I actually, I haven't played 8 yet, so I don't know. But in 7 and Celceta, I remember mostly choosing to play as a character that could use ranged attacks.
Really? Man, I can't do it. Like I have to be Adol.
Yeah, I think the way East is going now, it's just kind of permanently the 3 character, three types of attack modes type of thing that you can switch between on the fly. Because I won't talk about Lacrimosa of Donna, but yeah, there's parts there. I won't mention it, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like I have this tendency. I mean, it depends on the game, I guess. Like if you were to think of like Adol as like the Mario of the Ys series, like you play Mario 2, like you want to play as someone else because you have to play as Mario all the time, right? Who plays as Mario in Mario 2?
I do.
I don't get it. But I mean, it's the same thing with like Mario Kart or whatever. It's like you gotta play someone new and different, But
what if it's called Donkey Kong Kart? Then would you play as Mario? Probably
yes, because I kind of have a thing about not liking the fact that Donkey Kong is in those games, but that's just because I think far too much about
the lore,
logistics of the Mario universe. So, well, mostly I'm bitter because they were going to have Kamek or a generic Magikoopa, one or the other. In Mario Kart 64 originally, like the original screenshots, they showed the character select screen, and they had no Donkey Kong, they had Kamek. And I thought that was freaking awesome because I think Magic Koopas are some of the coolest Mario enemies. And, you know, and then they took that away and never gave it back. Like with all the characters that they put in Mario Kart over the years, they've never given that back. So I've always begrudged Donkey Kong for that.
Joe, do you have the Genesis version of 3?
Of course, yeah.
It's really expensive now.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I was looking
Like
it up.
how much?
It's like,
You know, that's like probably the best balanced version of Ys 3. Super Nintendo version gets really hard at the very, very end. Like, very, very end.
oh really?
And TurboGrafx one is the super, super easy one. That's the one that's really expensive.
Yeah, the TurboGrafx. I'm about to buy a copy of the TurboGrafx one from a guy.
From a guy?
Yeah, from a guy that I met at Missouri Game Con.
Sounds
Yeah.
trustworthy.
Well, he sold me a copy of Magic Knight Ray Earth as well when I was there. But anyways, you know, I forgot I was even going with it.
Someone just compared this to Smash TV. That's hilarious. Because you're playing with the character that shoots the projectiles, it does kind of look like Smash TV.
Yeah, a little bit. It would be, you know, like a dual analog attack would be like very interesting for this. You know, like if you could run one way.
I don't know
and
how that would work when you have to start switching your abilities later.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean I played this one for the first time when it was like a fan translation, and then was it like Xseed that like bought the fan translation and then released this? I think that's what happened. But
I don't know, but the version I played on PC was definitely in English.
Right.
I think it was an official release.
Right.
I don't think it was Xseed though, but it might have been. I have no idea.
I don't think it was an official release until Xseed, so that was probably it if it was official and unpatched.
Right. Well, you could download I did download the game, and then you could apply the English patch to it, and that translation in that, like that fan translation, was the one that Xseed ended up buying and using for the game.
So now, was this the second game made on this engine?
No, this was the third and final one.
Oh, okay. So
This is the
Felghana was made
E6
before
engine, right?
this.
Right.
Because this is the
E6
only
and
one
both.
that I've played where the characters are actual, you know, like little sprites instead of polygons.
Right. Well, actually, they I think they're sprites in Oath and Felghana, but the
PSP version, that's what I played.
right the PSP version is just like hard to tell because they're so blurry.
Yeah, I really wish they would have gotten off that portable kick. It's just too small,
know.
too
I
low
know.
res.
Yeah, that engine did not work that well on the PSP visually. I mean, it was fine, it played fine, but I think that the Legend of Heroes games, Trails in the Sky, used the same engine, right? Because it looked very similar on PSP, at least.
Yeah.
Probably if it was Falcom. Sounds like a Falcom game.
It's actually kind of impressive to me, really, though, that they were able to put, and I actually didn't even know this until Coury told me recently that for Ys 6, Ark of Napishtim, that the American PS2 version had the polygonal characters put in, I guess, just because
So I think Sony made them do it. Like,
Sony thought
like made
that
Konami do it.
2D characters would be too lame or something.
Yeah.
But
so-
Yeah,
I
the
think
PSP
they
version
look-
has the 2D characters.
right.
I mean, I think they look pretty cool. I mean, they blend in with the overall engine quite well, I think.
Right. The big thing is that with that version is that when you change your armor shows up on him. Like he's just not
That's
the same
cool.
character the whole time, or doesn't have the same look the whole time.
So Coury, do you pronounce it Adol or Adol naturally?
I've always said Adol.
When did you start playing Ys games?
I started playing with the Master System.
So did you play through the TurboGrafx
I
ones
didn't.
when they were?
I didn't play through the TurboGrafx system. I didn't play any of the TurboGrafx ones until the Virtual Console, actually.
Okay, so you probably heard Adol before you ever heard Adol.
Right. I mean, it's just the way I said it, I guess.
I mean, to be honest, I can't even really remember off the top of my head how they pronounce it once they started adding voices to the game. I think Adol tends to be what naturally pops out of my mouth, but
Yeah, there was a and also released in English. There was an anime adaptation of books 1 and 2, and I think that they call them something really weird in it. It's like it's neither Aaron or at all. It's like
Jim.
No, it's definitely like something with an AD, but I don't know. I don't remember what it was.
yeah, I never played any until I got my second PSP and got Felghana and 7 with it. I played Felghana first and I loved it. 7 is good. Like, I like the gameplay of 7, but I don't like the pacing.
See, I was the opposite with Felghana. I never bothered even finishing it. It just felt like too drawn out.
Oh, see, I thought it was pretty snappy.
Yeah, it's like it is pretty quick too.
I mean, isn't that your favorite one, Coury? Felghana?
Well, it was until 8, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it moves so quick, and I mean, it didn't feel drawn out to me. But then again, like I didn't play 3, so
yeah,
it was
when
pretty...
you play 3, well, you can beat that in a couple of hours.
Yeah, especially like like their early ones, like it's like 2 hours or something, I think. Because I watched your episode recently too, like when I was kind of like on the kick. Since I've been on the Ys kick again, and watched your episode. It was more recent than I thought it was for some reason. It was like episode 87 or something, which I guess.
Yeah, it's like over 120 episodes ago.
Yeah. But it's easy to forget, like a lot of those episodes they were coming out so quick at one point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now, what are y'all's feelings on Celceta? Because right now, I consider that my favorite one.
Really?
I liked it. I like Dawn of Ys on the Turbo CD better, especially after they translated it, of course. Mask of the Sun, there's 3 different Ys 4 stories,
right.
And that's one of them.
Right.
Mask of the Sun on the Super Nintendo is considered the official version of Ys 4. That one was made by, I can't remember who made it. Tonkin House? I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
But Hudson Soft made TurboGrafx CD Ys 4, and then Falcom came and made Memories of Celceta, and that was the only Ys 4 game they ever made.
Right, so that's like canon or whatever.
Yeah, now that's canon. But I think Dawn of Ys is better.
Yeah, I like Celceta because, like I said, like I really liked the gameplay of 7. Like I liked the party system and all that, but I just thought the game I didn't like the pacing very much, and I felt like Celceta's pacing was much better. It didn't have as much filler, and I also just kind of liked the whole mapping the forest sort of thing that just kind of worked for me.
I think you're really gonna like 8 then. It kind of takes everything, and then also it like combines, like the jumping makes it feel like a 3D version of this style. It's pretty much
because 7 and Celceta only had rolling, right?
Right.
No jumping at all.
Right, but the 8 adds in platforming, and then eventually like I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, because I know, like, I barely even know what the game looks like. So I'm going in
You are
pretty
in a
dark.
unique position with it then. I think that's so cool that
Yeah. When I first started Ys 8, I heard that, hey, it's, a 3D take on Ys. That's all I knew. I didn't watch any of the trailers. I didn't need to because I was going to buy it.
right.
It's like, no need to spoil it.
Well, I guess people have
And
been
when I first
complaining.
played it, I was like, oh, this actually works really well.
Yeah.
People have been complaining about the translation, so I have seen some screenshots because of that. But
What is there to complain about?
Well, I guess they're just like complaining about like certain words being used like over and over again. I mean, I guess like there's some parts that are like weird, but I think that
There are some like, oh, I think something's there, or whatever they say every time, or like, when they go fishing,
yeah.
he's casting his line, and before the line even hits the water, he's like, I wonder what I've caught. It's like, yeah, someone should have caught that.
And apparently, like certain things in the Japanese version, like already had like English words.
Yeah,
for them
I think the
that sounded
big one
a
is
lot
like
cooler.
the azeolic big hole. is like the one that everyone was talking about, or
It's like
azolic or whatever.
something in the Japanese version.
Yeah, it's like
or something.
crevice of something. It has like a kind of a cool name. But I think that they are going back and like they're gonna patch it. But
Supposedly in November.
I think that maybe I just didn't have a big issue with it because I don't know. Like I played a lot of really really awful translations throughout my life.
I'm pretty lenient on translations. Like it, I'm able to just kind of accept it pretty easily. Easily. But I think the one time though that I feel like it may have put a bit of a damper on it was, and I kept saying it wasn't going to bother me that much, but I guess it bothered me a little, was Wild Arms 2. Because like even you were saying that it was
That's
pretty
like the
bad
worst translation. Yeah. I mean,
like it just
like
it was just
Wild
in
Arms
such a
2 and
wo-
Breath of Fire 2 are like the worst translations I've ever played.
yeah, I can't even remember
And
specifically.
I don't really
what
get
was so
bothered by that kind of stuff.
yeah, me neither.
Phantasy Star 1 had a pretty bad
Oh,
translation.
it definitely did. And like
I
kind
kind
of
of
like-
like it though.
yeah, I mean, no, it was great. It's been, it's like, I always think of the names that they used in that version
Yeah,
as like the main ones, as like the canon names, even though, like I was so annoyed when they shortened names and like in 2 and like changed certain things that, the continuity should be there, and they kind of ruined it in the translation. And
Well,
especially like with 4, they really ruined it with a lot of stuff.
Isn't Alice's name like different in other versions?
Yeah, it's Alyssa. It's supposed to be Alyssa, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
I always thought just Alice, spelled ALIS was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm going the wrong way.
you're not.
I was going the right way?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not even really. I'm just watching. I'm not judging.
But yeah, I mean, I think that. See, I feel like I need to go back here. That's where it is. I mean, Phantasy Star 1 had just a perfectly fine translation, like in my eyes. Especially playing it when I was
First
like 11.
food shop.
The what?
The first food shop. I love that.
And like I always think of the names, like the character names, in terms of that one. It's always going to be Odin and Noah. To me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's Noah's other translated name?
Lutz.
Lutz,
Yeah.
that's right.
They
Which
could have
is-
fit that in. That's only 4 letters.
Yeah, I guess.
But I like Noah a little better.
Yeah,
Lutz sounds like a klutz or something like that. Not cool.
I forget was that one of the cases of where like it was like a woman in the Japanese version and a man in the American version, or am I thinking of something else?
No, that's definitely the case. Throughout the first game, like it goes back and forth between calling Noah he and the she.
Oh, okay.
But it's
So So in the Japanese version, it's a woman.
No, it's a man.
Oh, okay.
Lutz is a man, yeah. But you know, it's kind of back and forth in the translation.
Now, what about?
I don't remember him being called a she in the U.S. version.
I'm pretty sure that it is. I mean, I'd
What
have to
about,
look it up. But I mean, I feel like it, is referred to as a she, at least at one point.
Yeah,
what about
probably at one
meow?
point.
What's that?
What about meow?
I've always said meow.
Yeah, but what's the
Actually, when I
Japanese
was a
name?
kid, I always said Mayu. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's what I always said. Mayu.
I think that's the same. Like that's the correct translation.
Yeah.
That's funny. So you definitely said Mayu too.
Yeah, I did. And Lasik in Japan is known as like Lashiek or
Yeah,
something.
I always said
sound.
Yeah, but it would always be Lasik to me. And you know that well, I don't want to. Try's not played 4 yet, so we can't spoil anything for him on that either. Because there's a lot of really good callbacks to the first game in 4. And you know, it's very much a game for like people who have been playing the series from the beginning. I mean, there is a lot of. Sorry, like I have no idea where I'm going. Maybe is it up here?
Yeah, I got confused at this part too. I can't remember. You got to get back to that one room though.
Right. Sorry if this is boring, everybody.
It is pretty boring.
I
But
know.
you're definitely not going the right way.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Well,
So,
I'm not watching this live. I'm watching this 15 seconds into your past. So
Something random about this game. When I
that way.
played the Steam version, Coury at the time was, this is before my life in gaming, and he was doing trying to make like a little podcast, like a book
a game club,
pod-
yeah.
Yeah, like a book club style podcast, except with games, and I think the first month was like Metal Gear Solid 2,
Yeah.
and then
We did
the
like
second
6
month
episodes, I
was-
think, of it. It's like a monthly thing.
Yeah, and
This is where I'm going. This is it right here.
I think I was on maybe 2 of the podcasts, and that was like sort of the. Do you think that kind of led you to catching the bug to wanting to
Do the
make
show?
some sort of media with
Oh,
games?
definitely.
Voltar, how do you pronounce Adol?
Pronounce what?
Adol. He's in the chat. He's gonna type it. He's gonna type ADOL.
Holy
That's
cow!
what I would
Did you
type.
see that image that he tweeted yesterday of like this one Turbo Express mod?
Yeah,
And it had like resistors like kind of like soldered to like the
laying
chip,
there.
just like laying there. They're
Soldered
like,
in
oh, it
series,
works.
just-
That's what the people said.
Yeah,
it works. So it's good. That's all that matters.
I have this broken Xbox. Well, I say broken. To be honest, I've never really tried it.
Am I just blind?
But I just found next to the dumpster back when I lived in my apartment like years ago, and I opened it up and I've just kind of left it open, and I was looking at it today because I wanted to. Yes, I'm working on a PS2 episode, but I decided I want a shot of an Xbox motherboard in this episode. It'll make sense at the time. And so I was looking inside, and I noticed that there's like all this like glue on the power supply.
Is that one out there? Is that
And I asked Voltar about it. I'm like, this is like a 2001 Xbox. Is this normal? He said, yeah, it's just they kind of put the glue in to stop the parts from getting vibrated or getting knocked around, or hold the capacitors and whatnot in place.
Wait, in an Xbox?
Yeah, like that's. I guess that's just how they are. Like this was the power supply.
Warp back. Hey, Coury, just warp back to the statue that you saved at last.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you can. Just warp back. I mean, I'm not saying reload. Just warp back to it. And then you should be right there. You got to use the option.
Is it the crystal?
Like, I can't remember.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Wailing blue. All right.
It's one of those. Yeah, use that.
Okay. Okay, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Here we go. We'll just warp back to the tower base, and this should...
Well, no, it won't be the tower base. Now go up. No, okay. No. Yeah.
All right, I'll go to Wailing Blue.
Yeah, see, I'm watching this 15 seconds in the past. You need to go
so
back
now if
to
I
where
go
you first warped. Yeah, you got to go back to where you first warped.
Okay. Oh, and I can put it right there. I put the blue moon crest in the altar. Ugh. It's like so simple.
Well, it's because
I thought there was a door. There was a door. I thought there was a door. But that was back where I got sucked into the thing. All right, here we go. Sorry, that took a ridiculously long time to do. All right.
Well, it's because like anytime there's like an objective or like, you know, something that you have to like pay attention to, like it's always tough to do on a stream.
Right. Whoa.
How are you blasting through the text so fast?
If you hold down square, you can speed it. I mean, they all generally have something like that, like all the more modern ones. Even 8 has a thing where if you press like one of the shoulder buttons, it fast forwards the cutscenes.
Yeah, I forgot there was a character called Epona.
Yeah. Oh, I died first. It's all right. One thing that I always like that Falcom kind of does with, like, they don't do it here, but they started doing it, like, with the Trails of Cold Steel and stuff like that. Like, if you die on a boss, you can, like, lower the difficulty just for that one fight.
See, that kind of annoyed me when I played Trails in the Sky, because, like, it kind of just made me feel like there was like no point in really even trying.
Yeah.
Like I got pretty burned out like by the end of Trails in the Sky. Like I just wasn't really feeling it anymore. And so like whether it was good or bad, like that like kind of just let me coast through to the end of the game because I just had no interest in like fighting anymore in it. Like I didn't, you know, I just wanted to run from the battles and just finish it. Like because like the battle system was fine, but like I was done with it.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I was like way underleveled for the final boss, but like I just had to die like 5 times and then, you know, it was easy. Because it got easier every time.
But I kind of like that because then it doesn't overall make everything easier going forward. Just like I just want to get this past this one battle. See, I'm definitely okay with that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the key that I can use from that door. I was just getting my rooms confused.
Does you know, how I was saying that, you know, this Ease engine sort of seems to share a lot in common with
8?
Well, this engine seems to share a lot with like Trails in the Sky. Would you say the Ease 8 seems to share an engine or at least aspects of it with like Trails of Cold Steel, which I have not also played?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit. I mean,
do you think it's kind of a new engine?
It kind of has like a similar look, I guess. But I think one of the things I like so much about, I mean, 8 isn't exactly like a super good-looking game, but I think that it really does a good job of just.
It still looks good. I mean, it's not like top-tier PlayStation 4. But it still looks good. I mean, it's almost like Dreamcast looking. In some aspects.
Exactly. Like it just
there
feels
be
like.
appeal to that.
Yeah, it has just like a really overall, like, it's just like clean and sharp, I think.
Well, there was a line that I wrote for the PS2 script. It was something you read, but you know, it was kind of my thoughts. I assumed you agreed with it, but like whenever I play an HD remake on a modern system, it's always just like so nice because it's like so crisp and sharp and clean, but also like simple looking. Like I feel like, you know, yeah, all of the texture.
Put on the mask of eyes, Coury.
Yep.
All of the texture and complexity of modern games, like that, you know, that's great and all. But then when you take a break from that and just play like, you know, Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age in HD, you know, it's like so just I don't know, the simplicity and the overall construction of the image and flatter look to the textures and stuff. Like, I don't know, I just think it's kind of appealing when you come off of just having played you know, a complex AAA HD game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely something about it that it's refreshing, I guess. You know, it's not all about how it looks so much as it is, you know, it just like plays really good. And that's, you know, that's how, like, Ys works so well, especially because having a look like that, because it's super fast. I mean, the whole game just moves so fast.
I mean, it's even fun, you know, playing a PS2 game that kind of looks more like a Dreamcast game, you know? I mean, I don't know, I just think there's something appealing like that. Like, really, you know, like Ys 6 almost kind of looks like a Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
I don't know. The PS2 really isn't that far above the Dreamcast.
Yeah, but it had more time and more, like, the PS2's thing is like, it was so overwhelmingly popular that the developers had to put so much time and effort into it. And also because that generation, exclusives were still so much more of a thing than they are now, and not necessarily exclusive because they worked out a deal, exclusive because, well, you know, multi-platform development is kind of hard because the systems are so different, and so let's just make this game for the most popular system. And so because of that, I feel like PS2 evolved, the look of PS2 games evolved very heavily over the course of the generation, just because, you know, that was where the games were selling, and that's where the developers just got very familiar with it.
Yeah, but most games were still 480i.
Oh yeah, and that's that's kind of the main point of the episode. Which, you know, I gotta be honest, like, having played so much PS2 stuff, like on my PVM and stuff lately, like, I've really come to appreciate like the look of 480i. Like, it's sometimes like it can, like, the geometry edges can almost look smoother in 480i.
Well, it's because you're playing it on a CRT.
Right.
CRTs are very, very forgiving.
Right. And of course there is still, you know, sort of aliasing issues, but still, like, it's a really clean look, because I, like, didn't really play a ton of PS2 back in its day on, like, the proper sort of screen for it, because you know, I kind of went from an RF only TV to in college I bought this S-Video to VGA box that, like, de-interlaced it. And of course, you know, this was before I really understood all this stuff very well. And so, you know, I didn't, you know, have that scan line look then. You know, finally my senior, well, at some point I bought a HD CRT, which, you know, of course also de-interlaced, but I didn't understand that at the time. And, you know, later in my senior year in college, I did have like a smaller, the Toshiba CRT that you sometimes see in the episodes. I had that, but I sat kind of far away from it. Like, I just never really got like an appreciation for what 480i looks like because I just didn't have the right TVs for it at the time. But yeah, it's real nice. Like it's not ideal for upscaling, but you know, I think if you approach it with the right mindset, it's just like, you know, you got to understand that it's not going to look HD.
So, did you guys notice when making the episode or at any other time that the PS2 it stutters a lot? The interlacing, it'll like skip a field. It just does something really weird.
You were just talking about that in videos that you shot about like the comparison when we were doing the comparison between watching in 60 frames per second versus 30 and. It doesn't
skip a field in those examples that
it's just the playback of the media player.
It's the playback. Right. So my hope is, and I should upload some tests to YouTube just to make sure it works well. But like, because this episode hinges on being able to see interlacing correctly. So you have to watch this episode in 60 frames per second. I think, well, for one thing, so a lot of PS2 games use what's called field rendering, which is like it doesn't have like, it's not like rendering a 480p image and then outputting it as interlaced. Like it is rendering 240p and then shifting to the next field, back and forth, back and forth. So it's only rendering, you know, 240 lines at a time. And in those cases, I think maybe if the next frame isn't ready, then it does a hitch. I'd need to do a little more research to. I think I heard an explanation of why the hitch happens, but
happens a lot, pretty much every game.
But yeah, it is weird. Like I think a lot of times I see it like during loading screens. Like I know that the loading screen in like Maximo versus Army of Zen, like the like half the time the load text looks like it's 240p.
Oh right, okay, so that's what
like Cuphead's loading screen. Have you seen that? I mean, it doesn't do anything weird with the resolution, but it can't load smoothly worth anything. It's just like
which game?
Cuphead.
Oh,
Joe, you were saying you didn't really care for it.
I mean, well, at first I didn't, but I like it now.
Yeah, it's pretty. I played just like a couple of levels so far. I really need to sit down and play it a bunch more. But I think it's.
Did you hear about the? I can't remember. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard. I'm sure people in the chat have heard about the journalist who could not get past that super easy tutorial.
Right.
How can you not get past that?
I don't know.
I mean, pressing SCART.
I know. I reconfigured my controls because I always felt like having dash on the trigger like helps a lot.
Oh yeah, like Mega Man.
Got
changed it to the trigger.
I had no idea. I mean, I have no idea like how that happened. I mean, I think it's fine to like not be like great at games and like you can talk about them, but it's just like that is just like such a weird like thing that happened because it's like not hard at all.
No. And if you don't like it because it's too hard, fine, whatever. It's not the game for you. You probably shouldn't review it.
Right.
But because you can't really say much about it if you can't get past a tutorial.
Right.
But I don't know. People are just coming down way too hard on it, saying it's not fair for people who want to play it because it's too hard and stuff like that. And a lot of people are even calling the game racist. You know, because 1930s and 40s cartoons are racist, so therefore Cuphead is racist. So it's just the whole controversy with that game is just like weird.
I've heard there's controversy, but I mean regarding the difficulty at least. But I
switch your weapon.
I hadn't really heard what or for what reason. I mean, I heard.
I don't know if I can, is it?
I heard that
if
like
you switch the green weapon can destroy the green bubbles.
I mean, okay. I want to say I heard that Cuphead isn't even like that hard in the grand scheme of like in terms of like retro games. Like it's not unusually hard.
You know, it's not that bad once you get to the used to it. You'll have to practice a lot, of course.
I mean, which is how you get through a retro game. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that you can try as many times as you want.
Right.
It gets kind of frustrating. You'll have to take a break from time to time, sure, but
I mean, you know, like
climb up his arms, Coury.
right. When that's when he gets knocked down or knocked out. There we go. I feel like I. There we go. So, but I can't switch weapons. I can only like use the magic.
Yeah, whatever that is. Well, it's this game's version of the 3-party system.
It just feels like I'm not doing enough damage to him.
Well, he can only do so much damage each time. You have to go up to his head 5 times. Try not to get sucked in.
Cuphead is definitely cool. It's, I mean, like the animation is crazy on it.
And didn't you say it is confirmed for getting a physical release?
No, I think it's going to.
Microsoft always does that.
Yeah, and it'll be good because it'll be all like patched up and everything.
Do you know if Ori 2 is confirmed for physical or not?
No, they'll probably do it the same way as they did with the first one. It's like they
later.
release it digitally and then they have like a definitive edition. And Cuphead's, I bet you they do a definitive version that has like a super easy mode. You know, so that everyone can enjoy it. For some reason, I died.
You ever beat Ori, either of you?
I haven't. Did you?
No.
No,
I played pretty far in it though, and I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a great game.
I've got it, but I don't have an Xbox One yet.
Well, you're getting a.
I've got the X pre-ordered. Yeah.
You mean the Xbox?
Yes.
One
Yeah,
X?
the Xbox.
Yeah.
It's so funny to think like that's like what it comes down to.
I guess I read the other day that that they're still saying that there's going to be original Xbox backwards compatibility by the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm really.
Yeah, I'm just curious because everyone says, like, well, not everyone, but I mean, from what I've heard, like, in a lot of cases, even though it's emulation, like, a lot of Xbox 360 games actually are a better experience on Xbox One, which is kind of crazy. I don't have that many original Xbox games, so I'll be curious if any that I even have will be supported.
I wish they'd just support them all across the board. I know that's a lot of work, but that'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they're kind of like they're paranoid about compatibility.
Yeah. I don't know. Has this been confirmed either way? Will you be able to use the original discs, or is it just like a virtual console? Okay.
No, you can use your discs for if your game is.
No, I mean for the original Xbox games.
That's what I am 90% sure that's what they said at E3.
Okay, because I hope so, because I don't like the idea of a virtual console. Well, right. I mean I do, but like I don't want to buy a game I already own again.
Right.
No, I mean they've been pretty good
with
people who
don't have it. That's fine.
Exactly. But I think it's going to be it's kind of a bummer that it just doesn't play off the discs. Like the 360 ones have to they just like download the game.
Right, but I mean
it's understandable that's the reason.
That's fair when it's because the disk drives in modern systems aren't really designed to, access live during gameplay. Like they're really just for installing. Like I don't know the details, but I don't think the disk drive speeds are really suited for that.
Right.
So Corey, you're saying it downloads the game like through the internet, or does it just copy the game from the disc?
No, it downloads the game
Why?
because
Well,
it's
why
like
can't it
it's
just
like a
copy it from the disc?
well, it's like a self-contained like emulator and everything. I mean, it's
Right,
like it's
so
like
the
it's like a
emulator-
tweaked it's like a tweaked image of the game.
Right. It's probably designed to, you know, the emulator is probably tweaked to each game's particular quirks.
Right.
I mean, you know, someone in the stream a few weeks ago was saying that, you know, you can use homebrew methods to, if you have a hacked PS3, you can use Sony's emulator, you know, the one that lets you play the PS2 classics on any PS3 system, the download versions. You know, the 100% software emulator. Someone was saying that, you know, that there was some game that like gave their PS3 a yellow light when,
Yeah.
but it wasn't permanent. But still, like, I mean, it's, you know, there's all kinds of issues. I mean, the original Xbox library is not such a crazy extensive thing like PS2.
Right.
So, I mean, it probably wouldn't be that crazy of a thing for Microsoft to hand tweak. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, they had to hand tweak like how the Xbox One X runs, you know, certain Xbox One games, because the Xbox One X, to my understanding, is not quite as what's the word I'm looking for? Like the PS4 Pro, like it basically works by doubling the graphics card. I mean the GPU is you know what I've heard described as like a butterfly image of itself. Like it's just there's one and then there's the second one, and then the CPU is just upclocked. So, you know, when you're playing a original PS4 game with boost mode, well, actually, I don't think the GPU even works in boost mode, the second GPU. So when you're playing a non-pro supported PS4 game, it just turns off half of the GPU, and you're just using the half that is, you know, exactly the same as a regular PS4. And then with boost mode, I don't think the second GPU is used at all. I think it's just I think you get to use the CPU at its full speed, basically. So, but I think the Xbox One X is more significantly different from the original Xbox One than the PS4 Pro is from the original PS4. And so I think I got the impression with what I was reading that they did have to, like, you know, kind of look at each game or a lot of games and be like, oh, okay, the system needs to run like this for this game to, you know, not have issues or whatever. I mean, I could be blabbering about things that are not true at all, but that was the impression I got. So, but anyway, so they could, if they wanted, they could, you know, just have every original Xbox game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they have available for backwards compatibility, like day one. I mean, they have to have Panzer Dragoon Orta. Like that's like the number one.
I mean, only if Sega cares. I mean, it's.
I think Sega probably does care, at least.
I mean, that would
a
be
little bit.
fantastic because I can't play.
Oh, you have one of the Xboxes that doesn't work in 480p, right?
Yeah, I have one of those too. It sucks. You can't play Gun Valve. There's a lot of games you can't. And people keep saying, oh, there's this workaround, there's that workaround. I've gotten one to work once, and then I didn't play the Xbox for like, you know, a couple of months, and I forgot how to do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I can't figure it out again.
Like,
I wanted
know
to have
that-
Gun Valkyrie in this latest episode we have up now because Dino Crisis 3 kind of reminds me of Gun Valkyrie in the way he dashes around.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so I wanted to show like a little bit of Gun Valkyrie footage, but I just couldn't do it because I couldn't get it to boot up in 480p. So I'm like, F it.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool if like his Sega put a lot of their 360 games available for play on Xbox One.
I have no idea. But I mean, considering that Orta and like a lot of the Sega games were like backwards compatible on the 360, I feel like they know that it's considered like one of the best games on the system. So a lot of people are going to be going for it. I mean, I think it's the best Xbox game by a lot.
I'm looking forward to playing it. I mean, let me see what Xbox games I've got, and let's guess how likely they are to be playable. I've got the Bard's Tale.
Okay, I've never played it.
I can't even think of who published it. So that one might be unlikely.
That one's been on your mind a lot recently.
Well, because I started it, I'm like 3.5 hours into it. I thought it was pretty good. Like very simple sort of game, but also kind of unique. I thought it was pretty fun. Conquer Live and Reloaded. That's probably pretty likely.
Definitely. That is when it's very likely. I think.
Unless like it's just very challenging because it's like a late generation game and maybe use like some crazy effects or something. But that would be really cool because since that wasn't in Rare Replay.
Yeah. I didn't like Rare Replay. I mean, why does it have to install each game as a separate item?
I know, and they're all.
It's just
all they are though. You know, they're just like the backwards compatible versions that. If you owned any of those games on Xbox 360 and they became backwards compatible on the Xbox One, that's the game it downloads. Is the version that's like on those discs.
Yeah, I just don't like the way they packaged it together. You know, there should be an easy menu system to switch games and stuff like that. You shouldn't have to go back to the Xbox dashboard or whatever the hell they call it these days. So I don't know. I just didn't like the way they did it.
I've got Elder Scrolls 3. I'm going to guess no, but that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably going to happen.
You think it will? Because I feel like, it's actually surprisingly hard to find video, like good video online of the Xbox version of Morrowind.
Really?
Yeah, like, I mean, I haven't looked in a while, but because I played it, I to be honest, I don't even think I've tested my version of my copy of Xbox Morrowind. I played it on PC like 4 or 5 years ago, which was, a little rough, but overall worth doing. I just wanted it just to have like a physical console version, for
safekeeping.
Yeah, and so I was like, I wonder what the Xbox version looks like, and I couldn't find like any good video.
Wrong way, Corey.
I know. I'm just going back to save. Just in case.
I've also got Fable. That's probably the most likely of the games I have, I would guess.
Yeah.
Grabbed by the Ghoulies. I'd say that's relatively likely.
Anything that's rare is probably going to be likely.
Yeah.
Grabbed by the Ghoulies won't because that got that full remake on Rare Replay.
Oh.
They like completely that's the only one that they didn't just like make it backwards compatible. Like it's
that one is an actual Xbox One port.
Right. So that probably won't be on there.
If it's easy to do, they might. Or maybe they'll just give you the Xbox One version for free.
Right.
Let's see. Jade Empire. I have no idea how likely EA/BioWare is to support it. Maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool because I'm actually like really excited to play that game because I've not played like much really. I've just like really played the tutorial, but like it has a pretty good feel to it, and like it's a really good looking game too.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, Panzer Dragoon Orta, of course. So I've got Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time on Xbox, which I really don't need, but I back like at the beginning of when I was working on the PS2 episode, and I was like comparing like various cables. I wanted to get the PS4 version of Resident Evil 4 because it has like these color bars in the options menu, and I thought, oh, that would be like, I mean, for one, like I kind of just for no reason other than I really like Resident Evil games, just like kind of have this compulsion to own multiple versions of Resident Evil games, and so I was probably going to get the PS2 version of 4 eventually anyway. But anyway, so I was at the Grid, the Goodwill owned game store here, and they do buy two get one on all disc-based games, and so I got that, and I knew that I would need like to test Gran Turismo 4 a lot, just because it's like the most obvious 1080i game. So I grabbed that just for research purposes. It's like $6, and so
love how that one switches resolutions all day, every screen.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's definitely appreciated.
It's not a wonderful implementation for sure, but innovative at the time, I guess. But anyway, so I needed like to pick a third game, and I just like I had to go to the bathroom, like just about the worst I ever had to go to the bathroom in my life. And I'm like, I need to pick a third game.
So that was it?
And so I'm just like, it was like kind of coming and going. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Because there's no bathroom in the store. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And then like it kind of passes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take more of a careful look. And it's like, oh my gosh, it came again. And I'm like, Sands of Time on Xbox, that'll do.
So now you always have that memory attached to that version of the game.
Yep.
Oh, who do we got here? Oh, it's her again. It's Epona.
Yeah, that would be a good game to work on it. That'd be pretty cool if it did. I want to say, if I remember right, IGN years and years ago used to do, cross system comparisons, before like digital, well before the days of Digital Foundry, but of course not anywhere near as intelligently.
Oh, this is the boss from their first one, isn't it? Isn't this the boss from the first one? With the bats? There's like isn't there like a...
I thought that was...
But it's not in the tower, I don't think, in the original.
There's like one bat, right?
No, I don't think so. It's like a whole... Joe, does that sound...
Yeah, there's definitely bats in one.
I don't remember. I remember a similar boss.
Yeah, there's definitely something with
I just think that this tower is really, really roomy, and where did all this water go?
Yeah, right.
And the water is like on the, the 4th and 5th levels and stuff. I mean, you'll go up even higher and you're swimming in this stuff. I mean, they have some pretty good ceiling, not like a ceiling, but like sealed, because it's not leaking down to the floors below.
But yeah, if I recall correctly, the IGN breakdown of Sands of Time, which I would be interested to see, like Digital Foundry revisit some of their old verdicts, but it said that the Xbox
Man.
version has more detail. Like the prints, like actually has like separate fingers instead of just like you know a mitten with finger textures on it. But I want to say they said the GameCube version was more stable. It had better performance. So.
I don't know. I've only played the PS2 version.
Do you guys say Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
I used to say Ubisoft. I say Ubisoft now.
I say Ubisoft, but I thought Ubisoft was supposed to be correct, but they
There's no one correct way. Both are correct.
Right, because are you referring to the video they released? Like
yeah, where the own company's employees pronounced it both ways.
Yeah, and then the Yves Guillemot or whatever the president's name is, he said like he like literally pretty much just said you can say it however you want. So I'm like, okay, well then I'm not going to like make an effort to say Ubisoft anymore. I'm just going to say Ubisoft because it's way more natural for me.
Yeah, what we do in our videos is every other time we say it, we'll change it. So we'll say Ubisoft, and the next time we say it is Ubisoft. All in the same video, all in the same review. And people still lose their shit. It's just crazy. They don't realize we're trolling them.
I was telling Coury that I'm worried that that his pronunciation of Ico is going to ruffle some feathers in the new video.
Oh yeah, people they won't accept that. Oh no. You have to pronounce it right, otherwise, oh my God, you're not a gamer.
Yeah. Yeah, because
don't say Eco. You don't deserve to play the game.
Yep. I mean that's.
Have you said Eco or Ico in a video at some point?
I don't. Maybe Dave has. I've still never played. I've played it like a long time ago, but I've always called it Ico.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easier to say.
There's people in this very chat who are probably like, they know they're not gonna be able to watch the video now when it comes out.
Well, you now this is one that people are not going to feel strongly about, but you also say Radiata stories.
I've never said that one out loud in my life, so sure, that works.
It's Radiata. It's Radiata.
Radiator stories.
Yeah.
I remember before the game came out, I thought it was like Radacia stories or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of what it comes down to. Like, I guess I've always just like said things like, I don't know, just the way it looks.
The trap you fall into sometimes in videos is like you say it the right way all along, but you thought you were wrong, so you like change how you say it in the video, and it turns out that you were right.
That's what happened with Klonoa, for sure.
There was some game, Consaden. I've always called it Consaden, but when I put it in the video, I called it Considon. People were like, no, it's Consaden.
Really? See, I've always thought it was Considon. I've always said Considon.
Yeah.
Huh. That's, man, this game just feels like a lot harder than it used to.
Oh my God, people went total apeshit when I said, you know the Tate mode when you rotate the screen to play your bullet hell shooters and all that stuff. I called it Tate because that's how it's spelled. I'm an American. T-A-T-E spells Tate. It's Tate! Oh my God, it's Tate!
I've always called it Tate.
Know this, and someone asked me during a panel, it's like, how did you get Tate out of that?
Because it's spelled T-A-T-E?
Well, because I'm American.
And rotate?
It's the second half of the word rotate.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that Tate was like the way that it is supposed to be said. I've always said Tate.
Yeah, it's one less syllable. It's more efficient.
Yeah. Now I have more time to play with my toys.
Well,
exactly.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is, anytime something has Japanese origins, you better say it the Japanese way.
Yeah, it's like it's the Japanese get a pass for not saying it the way we say it, but we don't get a pass not saying it the way they say it. Well, at least the Americans over here don't give us a pass. The Japanese probably don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point, because I was like, I was double checking like what some 480p games were the other day, and I was checking the Wikipedia article for Soul Calibur 3, and I was just like marveling at I need to bring it up. I was marveling at what the Japanese pronunciation was, because it looked very difficult to say. It's a Sorukia. Oh my gosh! It's like just to say Soul Calibur is like very convoluted. Sorukiabura Suri. Sorukiabura.
Why is this so hard to me? Why is this guy so hard? I don't even understand.
Sorukiabura Suri.
Coury, you gotta get good.
Yeah.
Isn't that always the best creative advice?
Yeah.
You can get good. Oh, thanks, man. I didn't think of that.
I don't recall like ever having this much of a problem with this guy. I don't know why. Maybe I just need to use the magic.
Try a different magic. I don't know.
I don't think I have any yet. Oh, okay. So that guards a...
When he's only taking 1 damage, does another weapon do more?
Well, he's taking quite a bit of damage there. It's just that you're also taking quite a bit of damage.
Right.
But sometimes he's only.
I would probably run away when he blows those fire things at you. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely do that. It's just that...
But sometimes he only takes 1 damage. Like,
no, he's taking multiple damage.
Yeah, he's like taking 24.
Yeah, but sometimes it's 24 and sometimes it's 1. So like, you switch to a different weapon when it's only 1.
No, I mean, I don't have a different weapon.
Oh.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Avoid those flame things.
I was using the shield to see if it could like I could get some.
No,
extra hits
that did not work.
I had him in a sliver of power one time. I mean, for the record, like I've like beaten this game multiple times.
Really?
I've beaten it with every character. Yeah, on the PC.
Is there a difficulty difference between characters?
I don't think so. But like the guy that you unlock after you beat it with the 2 characters that you start with, that's kind of like the definitive story. Like that's like the real story, I guess.
Can
these
you unlock
stories don't count, I guess.
Right.
Can you unlock Adol too?
Only for...
No, he's not alive yet.
I mean, I know, but
It takes place 800 years before his mom was even impregnated.
But he...
But for some reason, I thought he was
only in
still
Time
an
Attack.
character.
Only in like the boss rush mode. You can
Oh,
play as him.
okay.
You can play as him in Time Attack?
Yeah, but you got to beat the game like on Nightmare and all this other stuff.
I'll just look on GameFAQs for a code or something.
I don't even know if there is one. Honestly.
Well, that's... I don't know if I agree with that, because I want to play with it, and that's offensive to my sensibilities. I should be able to play with it right away without doing the work.
Come on.
Getting close. You have a good life left from what I can see here 15 seconds in the past.
Come on,
Did you die?
No, not yet. I beat him. I leveled up. Holy cow!
Still fighting him from what I'm looking at.
It's gonna happen, but I was close to dying.
Oh, you were right, man. You totally beat him.
There's some discussion in the chat about how you say Super NES. I've always said Super NES. I've never said SNES.
Yeah, I can't say SNES or NES, or I say Super Nintendo a lot.
Yeah.
I normally say Super Nintendo.
Yeah, those people though, I don't know if it's Australia or if it's Europe too, but they say SNES.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's like they deserve not to get their, all the games if they're saying SNES. They deserve to be left out of territorial releases.
Is is SNES in North America? Is it like a regional thing? I've never really been sure.
No, I've never heard any like Americans like straight up just saying SNES.
I've definitely heard Americans say SNES. Bob says SNES.
Dave will say SNES, but you got to keep in mind he's an idiot. He also says Super Mario Bros. Like no, just because it's spelled Bros doesn't mean you have to pronounce it Bros.
I remember being like so confused about that. Like I'm like, how does that those 4 letters? How's that spell brothers?
I know
that's too long. I'm like, there are not enough letters to make that word there.
That's funny though. I mean, Bros.
I usually say Super Nintendo. Like back when there were only 2 Nintendos, it was Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
used to say that too, regular Nintendo.
Yeah, and
regular ass Nintendo.
and when there were more Nintendos, like I finally adopted NES. Did people say NES back in the day, or?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they called it the Nintendo.
Yeah.
Right. Back in the day, people just said Nintendo or the Nintendo. But I'm curious because NES seems very universal now, and I'm curious why that was so universally adopted, because I did too. I was just like, oh, it makes sense now that there's 3 Nintendo systems and a Game Boy and all that. Like, I should specify I'm going to start calling this NES now. I'm not going to call it regular Nintendo or original Nintendo anymore. I'm going to call it NES. And I can't tell you why I decided to do that, but it seems like everyone else did too.
It's more efficient. You save lots of time.
Yeah.
I guess.
There's an old SNL skit with Chris Farley where it's like talks about like abbreviating like single thing you say. And then Chris Farley goes, all right, now I have more time to play with my toys. Like all the extra time that you save in your day by shortening every word. You know what's really cool is I just got that item, the water dragon scales, and those are in 8. It's like this, they look the same. Allows you to breathe underwater. Interesting.
Oh my god. It's almost like they paid attention to canon.
Yeah. I wonder if they're the same thing.
I don't know. You weren't drowning when you were underwater there.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it implies Hugo's fate.
No.
No, definitely not.
Maybe he ended up in wherever the heck Lacrimosa of Donna takes place.
Yeah. See, Tress doesn't even know like where it takes place. You're in for a treat. You're definitely in for a treat. But yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I forgot what it was.
You gotta press that button again, I think.
Yeah, I gotta go and run.
Never. What if you're going that way?
Ugh, almost made it. There we go. This is always one of my favorite musics in the game. Is the sunken...
Yeah, I can't really hear it.
Yeah.
So,
it's
can
good.
the audience hear it?
Very slightly. I mean, I have it down pretty low. We do everything, at least I do now, like everything through a mixer, so it sends the like the computer audio, the game audio, and my voice. Like it goes into a mixer, and then I have the line out go into the computer.
I was just having so much trouble with audio echo going through the mixer that I decided to finally cut it out of the mix.
Yeah. So Troy, how much longer do you think you have on the like how much do you have to go on the PS2 episode?
A lot.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever feel like on days that Joe probably doesn't because like you've got this crazy schedule that like I don't understand how you like so consistently get videos done like weeks ahead of schedule. Like it's months ahead of schedule. Like it's unreal to me like how you can motivate yourself to get something done that far ahead of time. Like that is to be admired. But
it really helps to have a schedule. And then once you stick to it.
We were doing good with that, but it's just like
but is it more of like a routine? Like is it your daily schedule that helps so much like keep you on track? Or
no, not my daily schedule, because I should be editing right now, but I'm talking to you fine folks. But I try to get it done because we record once every 2 weeks on a certain day, usually Saturday afternoons, and I just make sure to have my stuff done before then, and Dave makes sure to have all his game recordings and his spiel written up before then too.
So he doesn't record at your house
That's usually
anymore.
pretty easy.
Did he used to record his voiceover at your house, or does he still do that?
Oh, he still does that.
Okay.
Because I have to sit in with him,
right,
to make sure it sounds okay and make sure, there's contractions where there, so make sure he doesn't say SNES or bros.
Like call him out on it.
But I mean, like I've been thinking lately about how if I have a day that I don't really need to get anything done, like it's just like wow, the day feels so vast. Like I could do anything, and like I might like as I'm eating dinner, like I might think like wow, lunch was a long time ago, and now, but like then when like it's a day where like I've got to get stuff done. Like, I've just got to get so much editing done. Like, the day just does not seem...
Yeah.
Like, anywhere... Does it feel that way to you guys? Like the day seems so much shorter when you're trying really hard to spend all day getting stuff done.
Not really. For me, like, when I have nothing to do on a day, and I'm like, yeah, this would be a good day to play video games. All those games I've been putting off because I've been working on the stupid show. And then I just sit there and look at those games, and I'm like, I don't want to play video games. It's so weird.
Yeah, but, I know what you mean.
Like for me, it's
or you end up like I end up like screwing around with like tweaking something in my setup for no reason.
Yeah, just dicking around, doing something you just thought of right then instead of doing something you planned on days before.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, like it's more like. It's more like oh, like I want to play video games, but then like I stop and think like, oh, is there something else I ought to be doing?
I always have a nagging feeling that there should be something else I should be doing.
Yeah.
But like how I end up playing video games these days like tends to be more like a marathon thing. Like this is like the one thing I'm doing today is like playing this one game. Like when I like set my mind to like sit down and play through a game, I will plow through it. But
I was that way with Ys 8. It's like I wanted to play that as much as possible because it's so awesome. I would just put off doing things. I'd feel so bad. Like I should be doing other things. I should be working on the show, but no, I'm playing Ys 8 until 3 in the morning.
See, for me, it's more like when I like just like binge on a game, like I don't really feel bad when I do that because it's like I feel like I've earned it when I like really set my mind out to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like I am like, man, I feel good binging on a game. But like it's just like playing a little bit of a game in the middle of any other day. Like that's when I feel like maybe a little guilty because it's like, oh, I should be doing something else. But like right now, like I'm definitely not like really playing anything that's not just playing to record stuff for this PS2 episode. I mean, it's a beast, but this weekend, like it's all I did until now. And other than
you look at the edit,
sleep,
do you feel like you've made a lot of progress?
No, that's the problem. I mean, in a way I have, a significant, I got the rest of your materials yesterday.
Right.
Or I guess technically Friday evening, but I spent a significant amount of my editing time yesterday, like pacing out your stuff and laying down the music to it and all that. So
music's always the last thing I do.
Really? Oh man, we always.
It has to be first for us. Like I'm always like I want to have like particular music. Like I always lay down like all sound first. Like,
yeah, same here.
Music.
I only lay down the VO. And then I edit to that.
But you, I mean, for your gameplay segments, you just use game audio, unless there's
usually, but not all the time.
Right.
And even if I don't, it's simple. It's simple just to erase the game audio and then plop down a track. If I want to cut to the beat, then that's pretty simple to change to.
Right.
See, that's the thing that I'm always thinking of. Like I always like I've kind of got this formula of where like I introduce a segment with like, you know, playing the music for a second or so, a few seconds, and then, you know, then go into the music. And like if like the VO lends itself to like, you know, like if there's like a cool beat in the music at the end of a VO segment, then I might be like, oh well, I'll like move the next segment down like another second just so that like cool part of the music can hit and I can like cut to that, you know, sometimes things like that. So I always like, I used to do music last, but that was like back when we were just using like, you know, generic royalty free music. And then we're like, we should be using video game music. You know, back then I did it last, but now I definitely do it first. And in fact, I actually like choose the music before I start even laying down the VO in that section.
Oh, I can swim upwards. I'm an idiot. It's like I can actually swim. That fixes everything.
That sounds familiar. But yeah.
One of the things I like is that I've been told this by other people that I work for professionally, but I edit really, really, really fast.
Yeah,
I think that's one of our strengths, is that I can get it done pretty fast.
Yeah,
right.
that I definitely envy that, because I am not fast. Yeah. Like I am definitely like a tweaker.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I
tweak a lot myself.
But like I like sort of like work on like the, you know, like fine tune like this particular segment before I'll like go on and do anything else.
Right.
Like I don't really do like a broad rough cut and then go back and change things. Like I like perfect a segment before I move on.
Yeah.
Like
I do that too.
I mean,
well,
like,
you're a lot faster at it.
I think I'm definitely like I'm a faster editor than Try is, but
oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's been times where you just like I had a long way to go, and then suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm pretty close to finishing. You're like, you were just like not very far.
Right. That's definitely one of the big differences between us, because like you're like bad at estimating in a good way, like how much longer it's going to take, and I'm bad at estimating in a bad way, because I'm always like, I could probably get it done in 2 or 3 weeks, and then
weeks. Jesus,
I know, right?
Well, the problem with like RGB episodes is
there's just a lot of stuff to shoot.
We like it's opposite of doing like a game episode, because like if we do a game episode, like we play the game, we write the script, we shoot the script, and then we just edit it, and then we just have like little bits of B-roll. But for the most part, we're just editing in like gameplay footage, and that goes really fast. And like I'm always like shocked and surprised when I remember how fast that can go. But when we do an RGB video or similar videos, like we do our research and test things out, but we don't really have like usable material. Like we're doing all that while we're writing the script, and we might get some usable material while we're doing that. But so it's like kind of like testing and research and writing, and then shoot our on-camera /VO, and then then lay out the VO and music, and then start editing. But oh boy, I've got nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm shooting, I'm recording, and editing all at the same time, and it's admittedly not terribly efficient, but it's also like I feel like I would be wasting time if I was just recording like a bunch of game stuff ahead of time, because I'm usually looking for like really specific examples, or I'm thinking of like what would be a good game or sort of shot to show this kind of effect, or what would really show the difference between 480i and 480p well, or what would, you know, show the difference between these cables, or this particular graphical quirk or something like that. I'm always like, and I just like come up with it on the spot, you know. You know, I definitely have perfectionist tendencies that like hurt me in terms of my time commitment, but at the same time, like I've definitely learned very well to, you know, just say good enough is good enough. You know, I mean that's the most important thing.
That is what comes.
The most important thing is to have standards, but at the same time be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I think that's like one of the most valuable things that I've learned from doing the show, is to say, you know, like, all right, so if you want to like get this done reasonably soon, then you just got to be like, okay, I'm okay with this part, and if I have time later on to come back to it, then I will.
Yeah, but yeah, you're always like, well, I don't know.
It's not flashy.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, that's your thing. You're like, it's not very flashy, and I always have to say, it's okay. It's okay for it to not be flashy. And you're like, I don't know. I don't love it.
Yeah. But we certainly don't have any drone shots yet.
No, oh gosh, that Game Gear shot.
we were dying about it.
We were fun.
Yeah, it was funny because it's so intense and like enormous, and it's like the Game Gear.
Oh, you obviously like reversed that, right?
Yeah, I shot it backwards because there's no way I could find it if I shot it forward.
Yeah, I mean, like which drone did you get?
The Phantom 4 Advanced.
Okay, yeah, I figured it was one of the Phantoms. Is it one that has the camera built onto it, or?
Oh yeah, it's the 4.
Yeah.
I think the 3 or the 2 or one of those, they don't have the. You have to get your own camera.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which model we have at work, but yeah, I mean it's like it shocked me because I've played with like toy drones basically before, and it's like really hard. But then when I tried out the drone at work, I was just like shocked at how foolproof it is.
Yeah, especially if you're watching the screen. I mean, even if you're just looking at it and not looking at the screen, it's a lot easier to fly. Yeah,
I mean it has a lot of systems in place that, you know, help balance it out and counteract the wind, and it's like so mindless to get like a cool looking shot with it.
And it helps that, I mean, I think it was Duke that was just talking about it. He's like, you know, I can see why Joe loves flying that drone around so much, because like every place it like looks gorgeous.
Like in Colorado.
Yeah.
We've got a drone shot coming up in our next episode in 2 weeks. We used it for the ending skit, and we just, hey, let's use the drone, okay? And we just
because you can.
used it. And I mean, we got the whole ending skit down. I had to drive up to Dave's to use it too, and also use it down here. But we got that whole ending skit done in like just a couple of hours, drone shots included.
Does it have voice in? Did you have to do ADR?
No. No, it's just like transitional shots, but there's a bunch of them. It was funny though. You guys will like the end skit next week.
I did get a kick out of. You want to play Solar Eclipse? Hell yeah, Solar Eclipse. Just the way you said it's like very. It like came off as like, you know, it's very deadpan. Hell yeah, hell yeah, I do.
Solar Eclipse is the right name for this game.
Yeah.
We just like dumb humor.
And that was on the 3DO. That was Total Eclipse. What's
yeah. Total Eclipse. Which would you rather have, a total eclipse or a solar eclipse? Even though they're pretty much the same thing. Well, a solar eclipse doesn't have to be a total eclipse, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I got a kick out of that. But drone shots are definitely something that would be like adds so much, I think, to like the feel of.
Yeah, you guys got a spinny table thing though. I've got a
true.
spinny table thing too, so we can.
Yeah, I think we have the same spinny table thing.
Yeah, it spins both
the
clockwise
eBay one.
and counterclockwise.
And you never know which one you're going to get.
Try.
Exactly.
Try did like the stupidest turntable shot probably ever in existence in this PS2 episode, where it's like it's like an Xbox with a PS2 stacked on top of it and a GameCube and Dreamcast on top of it.
It still managed to spin.
Yeah. It's like completely over the top, and like you said yourself, you said this is the stupidest thing I've ever shot in my life.
I like spinning them up and slowing them down in editing.
Yeah.
Well, I for this one, I actually sped it up in post. Like, do you ever like I can't think if like you've ever done like you do like spinning shots where you do it like super fast, right?
Oh yeah, and then it slows down to where it's barely spinning at all.
Yeah.
Do you? Yeah. I kind of did that with this, but do you
like shoot in 60 frames per second for that?
Well, if you do it at if you speed it up, do you keep it running on the timeline at 60 frames, or do you like nest it in a 30 frame sequence?
No, I edit all that in a 30 frame sequence, because once you speed it up, then it runs at 60, even if you shot it at 30.
Right.
I'm like, ew.
But,
so I just do it all at 30.
See, I was like, when I was speeding that stuff up, I was nesting it in a 30 frames timeline, but then like, I don't know, like to me, I don't think I was liking it that way. So
I like all my camera footage at 30 or 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
Right.
The game footage can be at 60, but not the camera stuff.
It's
Right.
interesting
Like,
because Tri shoots off his stuff at 30 frames for the on camera, but sometimes it like looks like it's 60.
Yeah.
But like mine doesn't seem to have that problem. I don't think.
I don't know why you think that.
I mean, sometimes
I
it just
actually
has.
I'm really habitual about like if I do post zoom or pan or something on the footage, I nest it in a 30 frames timeline, because I hate it if that I hate it when it looks, you've got like the 30 frames movement, but you've got like the 60 frames keyframing.
Yeah. So what do? Do you just like? I'm not familiar with Premiere. Do you export a movie and then just import it into the 60 frame timeline?
No, I nest it, and I nest the clip into its own timeline. I just you can just
and it obeys that in the 60 frame timeline. It doesn't try to.
Also, like I edit everything on the 60 frames timeline, and then so let's say then I do a keyframing and I want to look like it was at 30 frames.
Yeah.
So I right click, say I forget exactly what it says, but it says like insert into nest or something. So it makes its own nest, and then I just right click the nest in the project files and edit the sequence settings and make it 29.97 instead. Mm-hmm. And then that makes it, because the problem with that is if it like, especially if it's like a turntable shot and then you add like a pan to it, like it looks really jerky because it's like stuttering, like as it moves every other frame, but then it's like also like panning every frame.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about though. Like some of my footage looks like 60, even though it's
just sometimes
30.
it seems like it does. It's just like
when you're standing on camera a lot.
Like green screen stuff specifically. Sometimes it looks like 60.
Oh, off-screen stuff?
No. Green screen stuff.
No, it's 30.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, it definitely is. I just like sometimes it gives that impression.
Video-y vibe, I guess.
Yeah.
One of the challenges with this episode has been I have to shoot all of like the off-screen footage at 60 frames.
Why?
Because it'll look like 240p.
With the interlace.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You mean the CRT shots?
Yes, the off-screen.
Well, that makes sense.
Shot.
That makes sense.
Now I normally shoot CRT shots at 30 frames though, because that lets me sync up to the refresh in my camera, so I can like, it's Super Nintendo. I can do like 60.01 or whatever it is, so that I don't have a line at all. Or Genesis.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing about like our cameras.
59.9,
that stuff in it.
But so when I've shot, like in this episode, we always have to have some other systems in the episode, of course. So like for 240p stuff in this episode, I've still mostly shot at 30 frames, because in 240p stuff, like the refresh line like moves really quickly down the screen. But in 480i stuff, it's like mostly static, but moves very, very slowly. So what I've had to do for this episode is I just, turn my camera on, off until the refresh line is off screen.
Oh, and then turn on the
throughout the shot, it's unlikely to enter the screen because it moves, but very, very slowly. But yeah, all that stuff has been, and since I've got the GH4 and you've got the GH5, I don't have the benefit of, like, I would probably just leave my camera at 60 frames for this whole episode, and then like nest like not off-screen stuff and 30 frames timelines. Just
I wouldn't do that.
Well, if I had the GH5, I probably would, because the problem. Well, the problem is I keep forgetting to change it back and forth. Like, I had to reshoot a couple of B-roll shots that I specifically needed, like, to zoom in really, really close. So I needed to be shooting 4K. But because I can't shoot 60 frames at 4K, I had been, shooting some, interlaced stuff on the CRT and had it set at 60 frames and forgot to switch it back. And so I had to reshoot those shots because I shot them in 1080p. Now, a couple of the shots I didn't have to reshoot because I framed them up correctly, and I was able to nest them in 30 frames timelines, and it was no problem.
Well, guys, I got to run. I have got a lot of editing that I have not done tonight that I should do. So.
Yeah, we don't want you to run off your schedule in 2 months.
Yeah,
we're very envious of it. All right, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. See everybody.
Later.
Bye. Not you, though. But you. Yeah, cool. All right. Bye.
All right, so I'm moving along here.
I see people in the chat are talking about computer processors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm.
You're close to building a new build.
Yeah,
after this episode, right?
Honestly, if I had the time to do the build before getting into this episode, I would have, because I mean it's slowing me down big time. But my computer right now, but it'll get it done.
Yeah,
it'll get it done.
I'm envious.
I'm going to build a pretty good monster of a computer.
Yeah. Really quick, do we want to talk about the fact that we are going to have some extra stuff available for people to purchase in probably like midweek, I'm guessing?
Yes. In fact, that is largely why I'm able to get a new computer soon.
Yeah.
So, for those who are aware and or unaware, Limited Run helped us make Blu-ray copies of our Night Trap documentary. It's actually not just it's the Night Trap documentary is the main feature, but we've actually got bonus features that have our other documentary type episodes on the Blu-ray. So it's also got the Limited Run documentary, the Mist series showcase with Rand Miller, and the HD Retrovision mini doc. But there were extras. We're currently selling those exclusively to our patrons at a discounted price, but it's going to open up to everyone sometime this week. And so we will be selling the extras.
Right.
For
people that are
for anyone who is interested. who did not get one when they were available on limited run. You know, obviously we still got a limited number of them, but you know, if you're interested, so we'll announce that, you know, probably primarily on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you use the Facebook still.
I tend to put everything on there. Actually, I'll put it on the Facebook as well. But like the store it'll be available like on our website, which is mylifeingaming.com. There's a store page on there. And also, you know, like I was just talking to somebody recently of somebody who locally could maybe make us T-shirts.
Oh.
Which I think that is something, you know, like people can get it through Spreadshirt, but I think we could get some cool stuff done if we just did it on our own and like worked with somebody to do it.
Yeah. So this is, you know,
I'll talk to you
kind
about
of
that
our
later though. That's like something I didn't even mention before.
Yeah. So this is kind of our first attempt at selling stuff on online stores. So
yeah,
yeah,
I think
we're
it's
just
going pretty good.
selling
Like the
those
interface is pretty good overall.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, look for that this week if you want to get a Night Trap documentary and
Right.
didn't manage to already get one. Just kind of pay attention to our Twitter. Maybe probably like midweek or late week, between like Wednesday and Friday, maybe.
Yep. That's the plan.
So yeah.
But you had never even had a chance to look at the Blu-ray until like we got those
well,
extras.
no, because I don't have a Blu-ray burner.
Yeah, but it's just kind of funny that, you know, you never even had a chance to look at it until recently. What did you think of it? You think it came out all right?
Yeah, I mean it's great. Like I thought it looked really good.
And and definitely for the record, I think that there are more Blu-rays in our future, because I had a great time making it, and I think that we want to offer people, you know, the option to own some other episodes if they wanted to.
It's funding my new computer, so I'm I'm interested in more. I mean that's really pretty cool to think about. Really, I mean, you know, we funded the documentary through Patreon,
right?
And that led to an opportunity to make Blu-rays, which, you know, ultimately is helping me get a desperately needed new editing computer. So that's
right.
like, you know, just like it's like really cool.
It's almost like running a business.
Yeah, but it's really cool to think about like how far, you know, the money that we invested in producing the documentary. It's like it's really cool to think like how that's like, you know, it's actually gone pretty far. Like it's what specs I'm not sure yet. Really what caught my attention when I looked at the chat was people were talking about like, you know, the Intels and stuff, and you know, I've been really back and forth like whether to go for like one of AMD's Ryzen or however you say it processors, or you know, the new high-end Intels. I've been really torn. Like I kind of got the impression that maybe like some of the Intel processors, like I guess like the i9 series, which I don't know for sure if I'm going to go that high, but I really like CPU power is really big for video editing. And so I don't need to skip.
Right.
So I'm planning to go pretty high end for processor.
Yeah. I'd like to build a new one.
I've been using Intel, and to be clear, it's only an i5, because when I built, like, I upgraded my graphics card. I mean, not to anything crazy. I mean, it's only a GTX 960, and that did help a lot with editing. You know, when I built this computer, I was doing almost all my video editing at work. Like, I wasn't really editing at home hardly at all. So,
right. They're saying get a Threadripper.
Yeah, I mean that's like AMD's like crazy one,
Yeah.
and
That'd be awesome to have, wouldn't it?
you know, and some people, you know, that would definitely be overkill for a lot of people, because like games, like it's definitely a point of diminishing returns for games. In fact, you know, it literally is diminishing because from what I've read, like the architecture of those cores, like especially since games don't, I believe, like really take good advantage of like multi-threaded operations. Like it can actually be slower than the more standard high-end CPUs for games. But like, I mean, Adobe Premiere, like if you've got the threads, it will send commands to those threads.
Right.
So, you know, processor, you know, crazy processor is my priority. I'll probably get, you know, a high-end NVIDIA GPU. Like I'll probably get a 1080, but I mean, I'm not going for like Titan or nothing like that. But yeah, I mean, it's CPU power that I really need for editing.
Yeah. I'd like to build a new one. It's all going towards paying for my daughter's kindergarten now.
But yeah,
Eventually.
so I mean, you know, but again, you know, I think that's really cool. Like it makes me feel like what we invested in the Night Trap documentary has ultimately gone very far, and
yes.
You know, we'll continue to support the show. I mean, I honestly gotta wonder, like, how much less time would the PS2 episode help me, or how much less time would the PS2 episode take me to make if I had that computer before,
right?
Before doing it. I really gotta wonder. I mean, it's definitely going to increase efficiency and I think the general thought process while editing.
Why I'm like dying here.
But yeah, so I built my computer honestly is like a mid-range gaming PC because I was editing video at work, not at home. And you know, and
my game crashed.
Whoa. When was the last time you saved?
It was right before that boss, but that's interesting. It's telling me to check for an update. Dang.
Wow, that's weird. I feel like I've only seen like a PS4 game crash like once or twice.
That's the first time I've ever seen it crash. Yeah, the PS4 is telling me to get good, I guess.
But yeah, I'm really excited about building the new computer.
It's always such a fun thing. You know, I only do it, you know, like every few days, for every few days.
Every few days.
You know, you know, I think mine is, gosh, my computer is getting to be maybe 5 years old now.
Yeah, that's about what mine is.
But mine's a bit beefier than yours, I think.
It is, because you've got an i7, which
right.
You know, because really i5 is like the bang for your buck sweet spot for gaming, you know? Like unless you need like the
but it's struggling with, you know, with editing 4K. It's definitely having some issues, but you know, what I really want to do is like when I build a new system, I'm going to build a like a RAID array for footage, which like speeds things up significantly as well.
Because it's sourcing from like multiple hard drives.
Right. Yeah.
Now, would that be the RAID style setup where it's like?
It's like a mini tower, like a Drobo type thing. Which I've heard the Drobo is not great.
I don't know what Drobo is.
It's just like a, you know, it's you put multiple hard drives in it.
Right, but I've never really done a RAID array. Like if I recall, I mean it's been years since I even looked into it, but if I recall, it's like basically either, you know, option A, bits of bits of the same file are spread across 2 hard drives, or option B, the same thing is on both hard drives. Right?
Right, which it mirrors it. Or you can have everything like on the hard drives, but it's just like it can seek from everything so much quicker.
Yeah. I mean, if I can make it work in my budget, like I would like a larger SSD that I could like at least keep like my current project on
Right.
and like edit directly off that SSD.
Yeah. But it depends on how big. I mean,
I don't know. You know, I don't know if that's going to, you know, work in my budget or not. Since I am going to blow like the largest chunk of my budget on CPU for sure.
yeah.
Does anyone in the chat know? Like, I didn't even know this existed until like maybe a month ago. Like, does anyone know if there's advantages to PCI Express SSDs versus SATA SSDs? Like, I didn't even know there were PCI Express SSDs.
See, I knew about, that they existed. I don't know what what kind of benefits they really offer.
Yeah, I mean, a PCI Express slot on your motherboard is much more valuable than a SATA slot. You know?
Yeah.
It would have to be a really big advantage on the SSD to warrant taking up that slot.
What the heck?
Because I'm gonna want to put other capture cards on it, or so PCI Express drives are a ton faster.
Really?
Like,
how much more expensive are they though?
I don't know if they really are much more expensive. I didn't really look into it a ton. But, like, I mean, SSD is still already so fast, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine
Them being even faster.
the
I can
M2
imagine. I can imagine it
Solid
being
Unit
pretty
says
fast.
that the M2 slots on modern motherboards have PCIe. You don't have to use the PCIe slot. I don't know what an M2 slot is. I mean, I haven't like really. Like,
That's always the complicated thing, you know. After I finish upgrading my PC, like I kind of stop paying attention really closely until like I'm ready to upgrade again.
Yeah, like you say, like the base of my computer, it's going to be 5 years old this January.
Yeah.
So.
Which I mean, it's not super old.
That's pretty old for a computer, especially considering what we're doing with it. Yeah. And also considering I built it like to play Final Fantasy 14, not to edit 4K video.
Right.
M2 is the connector that it uses. So what? So I guess I'm confused. How is it a PCIe SSD, but it uses a different? I guess I'm really confused. Like, what do you plug it into that would not take up a PCIe slot?
I don't know. Or you're asking the chat.
Oh, right? It uses PCI Express lanes. Gotcha. So I could still put. Well, then where would I put the hard drive if it's in that PCI Express form factor? Or do they make it in another form factor that would still be the PCI Express protocol? I guess I need to look into that a little more carefully. But it's good to know that there's this Porter cable M2 drives are tiny. So it's a specifically a M2 SSD that I would look for if I wanted that.
I feel like I'm just doing this wrong. Like I don't know what's going on. Like I feel like the game didn't used to be this hard. I'm just like struggling with it. Maybe it's just 'cause I'm streaming. I just want to beat this boss before I call it a night.
How much more expensive are the M2 or PCI Express SSDs compared to the SATA ones?
I gotta do it like. I think I have it. I'm doing this right. Trying to get all the. Holy cow! Trying to get all the shell off. I think it is an arthropod after all. Sorry, I'm just like kind of concentrating.
512 gig is about $300. Wouldn't 512 be like 200 or 250 these days, maybe?
Jeez.
But yeah, like, I mean, I definitely, you know, I'll get a, you know, an SSD obviously for my boot drive, but
Right.
as for whether I get one big enough for editing content, you know, we'll see.
What are you gonna do with your?
I can't even imagine using like a standard hard drive for your boot disk anymore.
I know.
Like that.
You know, I have my old
It's
computer.
been a long time since I've used a computer that had a standard hard drive for the boot disk.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to do it that way, obviously.
But yeah, I can't, like, if I could get a big enough SSD to at least have like the current or two most recent projects on it, like that would be really cool. But it's not a priority. It just kind of depends on what kind of money I've got after I see how much the CPU and GPU are going to cost me.
Okay, figure this out again. I remember I can like detonate the bombs manually.
1 terabyte is $450 on Newegg. That is not bad.
I'm dead.
Whatever. I don't know which type you're referring to, but that's not that bad.
It crashed again.
What the heck?
I'm gonna report the issue. Report the problem. I attach a screenshot and video clip. Just do it.
That's crazy. So it's only happening when you die.
Yeah, on that boss. Weird. Weird. Well, so I guess we should talk about like what's happening this week. So I have like a script almost finished. Hopefully I can have it done by the weekend. I think that it's going to be possible. It's going to be it's something that people have been asking about, I guess, for a little while. It's a video on the Rhea and Phoebe drive replacement mods for the Saturn. Probably make it even more impossible for people to get than they already are. I think. But I think it's kind of fun. Not going to be like a long drawn out video, but we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. And then after that is PS2 probably.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a long ways to go. So I kind of decided, since I've got everything strung out now. And by the way, right now it stands at 1 hour, 3.5 minutes. And that's
I get so worried about like whether or not it's going to be as watchable as. I mean, I obviously like
Game Boy.
As Game Boy. Game Boy is long, but it just like covers like so many different things.
Right, Game Boy is fun, and Game Boy was fun to make. I'm not gonna lie, this is not going to be as fun to make as Game Boy was, but like I felt engaged with Game Boy, like the whole process of working on it, because like it was always like something new, something different,
Right.
And PS2, it's just there's a lot to talk about, much more than I had ever really considered going into it. And
right.
Really, it's because there are several big things, really got to have a good talk about 480i, because that is like so crucial to everything regarding PS2. And I feel like the biggest thing is you got to accept what you got to work with, and it's 480i.
Yeah.
You know, and so we really talk about 480i. And then we talk about, you know, I just, you know, chewed through most of the section about, you know, composite and S-video today, because, I mean, there's nothing that crazy about it.
Yeah.
But then component, you know, we kind of talk about different component cables and compare them, and we probably talk about component and more than is strictly necessary, but because component versus RGB is such a big question that people have, like, I felt like it was important to really kind of establish component and very thoroughly. And then RGB is, of course, a big complicated mess, because you got to consider sync on Luma and sync on green, and different types of cables, and what to buy, and those considerations. And then, what's the difference between component and RGB? Is there really a tangible difference? And then, we talk about those stupid little HDMI adapters, which don't buy one. Spoilers, don't buy one. They're junk. And yes, we looked at two.
Sorry about that, everyone. I'm saying, like, why is? Sorry, it's like just like a picture. This is my desktop. Was showing for you instead. Sorry about that. It should be better now. It's become a piece of wood.
But and then we talk about, like, how 480i works on certain upscalers. We take a good look at, like, the FrameMeister's deinterlacing and the OSSC's Bob deinterlacing. And we talk a lot about PS3, which is actually really cool. And then, we wind it down and talk about, PS4 and HD ports, and just a little bit about emulation.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's packed full. I hope it's exciting to to people. Hopefully they'll become engrossed in it, even though it's not going to be quite the same as looking at a bunch of different Game Boys and stuff, which is inherently kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of stuff. Yeah, free McBoot is in it. Don't take what I just said off the top of my head as every little thing that's in the episode. That was kind of a broad overview.
I mean, but, 63 minutes. That's a lot of time.
It's a lot, but I feel like, I'm not going to cut something out just for the sake of cutting something out. I'm only going to cut something out if it truly feels needless, because trying to make it, pretty comprehensive about what you need to know about, how the PS2 looks.
Right.
And if people are excited about Free McBoot, it's not going to be a lot of talk about. I'm not going to talk really about HD Loader. It doesn't talk about HD Loader at all. It's really only about forcing 480p, which you
kind of cover, and you talk about, like the frame buffer, or not the frame buffer, the thing you're just talking about earlier.
Field rendering.
Field rendering, yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't work in field rendered games, and in the games that it does work, the aspect ratio can be completely screwed up.
Right.
So I don't think it's something that you should count on at all. Like, some games, the aspect ratio will look fine, but like it's nothing that I think should count on making like just a core part of your PS4 or PS2 experience. Like, oh, I can force 240 or 480p in all these games. It's not really going to help you a significant chunk of the time.
Right.
Yeah, you can force 1080i, which is mentioned in very briefly because there's no reason to.
Right.
Like it doesn't change the render resolution. There's no reason to force 1080i.
Mm-hmm.
There's really only a reason to force 480p. And in some cases, great. Most of the time, don't do it. So I don't think it's very. I don't think the GSM, which is the part of Free McBoot that lets you do it, I don't think it's a very useful tool personally. Really, I think the coolest thing, I hope people watch to the PS3 part because that's like really cool. Like if you're not necessarily concerned about, the possibility of lag or whatever, like it looks the best, I think. I really do. But is it practical? Maybe not. Especially if you don't already have like a good backwards compatible PS3. I also worry a lot about the long-term reliability of those systems. But it looks great. It looks amazing. Even on CRT, it's even an improvement. Because it's got this smoothing effect that's like actually super good. But yeah.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's.
I'm
excited to see how it comes out.
Too much spoilers, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said during the stream, the biggest thing is you have to watch this episode in 60 frames per second, because otherwise, when I'm shooting stuff off of a CRT, it'll look like 240p because you're going to be missing half of the fields. It's actually kind of interesting because I have early in the video, Coury says, if at all possible, watch this episode at 60 frames per second because the correct look of 480i cannot be shown without it. And I actually nested, like I have this comparison where this is 30 frames, this is 60 frames. And all I did was nest the 60 frames clip in a 30 frames sequence, and it just is perfect. It just, the scan, half the scan lines are missing. One of the funniest things when I was laying out your audio yesterday. Let me see if I can bring up this part in the script.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna bring up the script because there's one part that was
I
so
think
difficult for me to read. And there's a blooper that I will have to use in the future that I like set aside for it. When I read this line, it took me so many times to read it.
I'm pretty sure the word certain was in it. Here, let me find it. Certain appears in this script 22 times. Certain geometry areas. Certainly varies. Certain external scalars. Certain video processors. Here we go. So here's the line. Coury says this line. No PlayStation Series console has a dedicated sync signal called C-Sync, but sync stripping circuits installed inside certain cables can generate a C-Sync signal from Luma if sync on Luma happens to be incompatible with your equipment.
It took me 20 minutes to read that thing, and then I was like, I go. There's I stopped. I was like. I go, holy shit, Try. Are you serious? I don't know if I can play it. Let me see if I can make a scene so I can just like play this. But
there's like so many.
See if I can do it here. Sorry, it was like dark there for a second. Let me see if I can find the thing, the outtake. It's just real quick.
But the funny thing though is
like hard drive. Hang on. You can go ahead and read it.
The funny thing is that, like, after that, like, you've got, like, good energy, like, in general in the script, and then, like, once you hit that line, like, after that line for, like, an extended time, you've got clearly less energy.
After that, really? Yeah, well, I mean, I had to stop, and then I came back and did it.
You get it back after a point, but it's just kind of funny because, like, most people wouldn't notice, but I could tell just because you had texted me. Try saying this line out loud.
No PlayStation Series console has a dedicated sync signal called C-Sync, but sync stripping circuits installed in but sync stripping circuits installed but sync stripping circuits installed ugh! But sync stripping circuits installed inside of certain cables can generate a C-Sync signal from Luma if sync on Luma happens to be. Holy shit! Try really?
Oh Jesus! There we go. Wrong. Is I don't know if it's anybody getting audio there. Hopefully, that people are getting it. It's. Can I copy and paste? Will you copy and paste that text into the chat? Because
Here, I'll copy it from the.
it is freaking sane, and I have no idea.
And it's not even like a complete take.
I had to go through and split it up in certain parts.
You cut it really well though. Like I didn't have to tweak anything. Why is it's not going I'm trying to, is my message too big maybe?
There might be. I mean, there's like a 200 character limit. I don't know.
No PlayStation Series console has a dedicated sync signal called C-Sync, but sync stripping circuits installed inside certain cables can generate a C-Sync signal from Luma if sync on Luma happens to be incompatible with your equipment. Sync stripping circuits installed inside certain cables can generate a C-Sync signal. I had no idea. I had no idea when I wrote that. It's probably the poet inside me.
Yeah.
Wanted to have some alliteration. I don't have a poet inside me. I hate poetry.
Man. Ugh. Now I can show like videos. I was looking through the bloopers. I think I can probably I have like 21 blooper clips that we could probably put together another blooper reel.
For this one video?
Yeah, well the freaking in my mailbox video is like almost 4 minutes long of me just like
Oh, you mean you've got bloopers from, so those are just your bloopers? Because I've uploaded a bunch
No,
of
no, this is both of ours.
Oh, okay. So did you delete those off of the Dropbox?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you cleaned that. Oh wait, no, there's a bunch of bloopers. Oh man, I wish I could share some of these right now.
Well, no, I have a bunch of them. I mean, I can always do it if you give me a sec.
No PlayStation Series console has a dedicated sync signal called C-Sync, but sync stripping circuits installed
before we get too deep into that, the super but before we get too deep into that, the super but before we get too deep into that, the super but before
I don't know.
we
It's just
get
not
too
working the
deep
way
into-
that I want it to work. I don't know why. Now everything's all jacked up. I messed up everything.
Oh wow.
Maybe. Sorry, everybody. I thought it'd be. Anyways, I'll put together. Maybe I'll do that like as soon as I finish this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got good material for.
Yeah.
But it was like it took us like Dave is such a pro,
Yeah.
And it was just it took us a while like to catch up,
Oh
like,
yeah.
when we were doing the soundtracks video, like you're like, well, they're similar, but they look similar.
He's like, yeah, but why? And then we're just like, let me see if I can find it here. Hang on.
But before we get too deep into that, the super but
So when you open it up, look at that.
yours is all silver, mine has
Forget it. It's just
Everything
like
is
it's not working the way I want it to. I think I messed it up by doing it.
If I send my screen, can you put my my screen on the stream in decent quality?
Yeah. I mean, you can always do that. I don't know the audio, as long as you have the audio going through.
It probably won't be. I mean, I don't necessarily want the audio going through. Oh, you're talking about for bloopers. I was going to show like what my timeline looks like.
I have an idea. I have another idea. Sorry that we're like screwing around. We're doing this. We're doing it live. Let me see if I can do something here.
So when you open it up, look at that.
yours is all silver, mine has character artwork.
And the really the thing to look for is this.
The Sanmei logo,
Yep.
which they are one of many that had made fake soundtracks.
That's right.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth.
So when you open it up, look at that.
Yours is all silver, mine has character.
So when you open it up, look at that.
Why don't you guys do a close up of me so that way he has coverage, and then you can pull out, like yesterday. You ready? I'll let you get your shakes now. Okay, here we go. So these are the same thing, aren't they?
They look similar, but they're not.
Okay.
Go on.
Why don't you guys do a close up of me so that way he has coverage, and then you can pull out, like yesterday. You ready? I'll let you get your shakes now. So these look like the same thing to me.
They look the same, but they're different.
Okay. How?
Well,
Okay, now people should be able to hear us.
Hello, hello.
All right. You want me to do another one? I'll do one more. Which one do you want?
Well, I mean, it's not much of anything, but I like that
but
first
also,
fight one.
but also, but also,
But ultimately,
but ultimately,
but also,
but ultimately, but all,
you really can't get through it.
but also,
But also.
I don't even remember what episode that was.
I mean, do you want to see? Do people want to see the In My Mailbox? It's so long.
Oh, have people
October
not seen
4th,
it?
1994. I'll never forget coming home from school with a copy of Jurassic Park on VHS that had just been released that day. In my mailbox, I can't even say. In my mailbox.
I'm sorry it's so long, but it just kind of goes on because eventually I just like start laughing.
This was shot with your old camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my mailbox. In my mailbox. In my mailbox with this. In my mailbox with this.
You've never seen
Waiting for the
this,
sing
have
and
you?
rewind. In my mailbox with this. In my mailbox with this. I'll never forget coming home. In my mailbox with this. I'll never forget coming home in 1994. My mailbox was this. October 4th, 1994. I'll never forget coming home from school with a copy of Jurassic Park on VHS that had just been released that day. In my mailbox was this. Donkey Kong Country Expo. I can't say. In my mailbox. Okay. October 4th, 1994. I'll never forget coming home.
Try not to laugh. October 4th, 1994. I'll never forget coming home from school with a copy of Jurassic Park on VHS that had just been released that day. In my mailbox. I can't do it. I can't do it. In my Okay. Oh, Josh. Stop. Stop. Okay. Let's get it together, Corey. October 4th, 1994. Just get through it. It's so long. I'm sorry. That was it. All right. That was it. I hope everyone enjoyed that. It was way too long for what it was.
I think we need to include that as an Easter egg in every single Blu-ray we make.
Yeah, just that video.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
But, yeah,
Is that gonna do it?
I guess that better do it.
All right. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. Sorry, it was like so much black screen there while I was trying to figure it out. But so I guess like we should just talk about really quick about we're definitely doing Extra Life, like we've announced it and everything, and we're gonna we're not getting together for it, but we're gonna be like doing a dual stream side by side.
We'll have to figure out how we'll do it. I mean, presumably my feed will be delayed a bit, but
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be cool though. I mean, we've done like dual streams before. It's gonna be that, but we're gonna have like people on Skype with us throughout. You know, like a lot of regulars that you've seen in the chat and on the show before. And
when is Extra Life? I believe it
November
is
4th.
November 4th. Yeah,
Saturday.
So it's just kind of we're just going to be trying to beat a bunch of games.
Yeah,
off
basically.
Our backlog,
That's what it's gonna be. We're just gonna
make
finish
some backlog progress.
Maybe have some friends over to play some co-op.
Yeah.
And see what we get into. I think it's gonna be fun. I was just saying to my wife, I was like, you should go to your parents. Because, like I don't think I'm gonna be doing this for 24 hours, like you never know. But if they don't go, I mean, maybe my kids will make a slight appearance at one point. I'm up here and they're here.
Hopefully you get over your cough.
Yeah, I'll be fine by then. I have like 2 more days of antibiotics and I'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can put together a blooper reel. Like as soon as I finish this this Saturn solid state drive thingy video, I'll put that together.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, the PS2 episode, it'll be weeks away yet, but when you're playing Mario Odyssey and I'm probably still editing that,
I don't know. Like I know like my episodes for the rest of the year are going to be, so I'm going to like try to move forward. But I mean, I know like I'm excited about Mario Odyssey, but I'm like not super excited.
I'm pretty super excited, and I'm upset that I'm probably not going to be done with this video.
Yeah.
That was more to the audience than to you.
Right.
But yeah.
It'll be be released in 2017.
Yes. And I know I've been saying I want to do this 4K episode, this 4K TVs episode before Black Friday, but I honestly just don't know if that'll happen. And like I'm kind of at the point with this PS2 video realizing that this is taking longer than I had hoped, which it always does, but I should know better by now. But I mean, that 4K video might not happen before Black Friday. Like maybe I can write it before then, but I don't know if it's going to get. I don't know if it's going to get done. I mean, it's just it's not going to be as big of a video as this, but it's still I'm going. I also want to build my new computer before then too. So
right.
So I don't know if it'll happen. I would love for it to, but it might happen in December. But we will see.
The 4K episode, not the PS2 episode. PS2 episode will be.
PS2 episode will, be happening late this month or early November without doubt.
Right.
But yeah, it's. I've sort of decided like this isn't how I normally do things, but I'm going to kind of go through the whole video and shoot and implement all B-roll that I need, like footage shot with my camera. And then I'm kind of going to go back and add direct capture stuff, which hopefully you'll be in a position where we can kind of tag team it really quickly. Mm-hmm. And that should get done. Like that stuff should go relatively quick. It's just that PS2 games aren't as quick to the action as Game Boy games, for
Right.
example. You know, you have to get through loading and company logos, and sometimes the cutscenes aren't skippable, and it's just not as quick access stuff.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say, I wonder if I have that 60 frames per second thing. I could give them a little preview of just that one little 30-second bit, but I'm not gonna.
I don't even know if that would really translate over the stream very
No,
well.
probably not. Anyways, I think that's gonna do it for tonight.
Yep.
We'll see it. We'll see you next week.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everybody.